So I'm going to be doing two videos today, and they're both health related. And if that's boring, well, you don't have to watch them. They're clearly labeled. So the one that I'm going to put them in two videos because even though I have both, you, the viewer, may not have both. The first one, and ironically the one I'm least likely to get emotional about, is PCOS. That is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Living with PCOS, inconvenient, let's just say. You have to shave way more than the average woman. I choose not to shave my arm hair and my upper thigh hair because it's not that bad. Well, the backs of my thighs are pretty bad. But I'm to the point that I just don't care, you know? So we are very, very hairy, unfortunately. I think I almost got my lips. And when you have a period, it is irregular. So you don't have that predictability that most women do. If you live with other women, it's not like you're going to sync up with their cycles. That would be convenient, but no, we don't get that. We have to always have pads or tampons or whatever your product of choice is. You have to always have them on hand, and don't ever buy underwear that you like because I can guarantee at least once you will have a surprise period in them. Even if you just had your period 2 weeks ago, that is no guarantee that you can wear your pretty panties. So you have to always be prepared. He done scratched me, sorry. You have to always be prepared because, and never, ever, ever buy white pants. Just not going to happen. Or a white skirt or anything white. I tell you, when I had my hysterectomy, I bought so many white clothes because I can wear them now. A lot of women with PCOS have fertility issues. Now, I could not use birth control because I have Raynaud's, which is also why I'm bundled up, because my extremities are not very efficient in the capillary region. So if I had taken birth control, I did briefly before I had my hysterectomy because I had to, but I lucked out and didn't have a stroke because that's the risk that I run with having birth control. And my ex didn't like wearing condoms. So, no protection whatsoever. And we moved around a lot and we were very stressed. And let's just say we were very active. And my kids are all three, well, my oldest isn't his, but my kids are all three years apart, almost exactly. So at least I wasn't cranking a kid out Irish twin style, which is they're born the same year. So in that respect, PCOS did help. I wasn't like wrecking my body, just cranking out kids. But unpredictable periods is a very big pain in the butt. Also, the body odor issue. Yeah, it took a supplement of I can't remember what, magnesium maybe, and a crystal stick deodorant because regular deodorant just wouldn't do the job. I was still stinky. And if you've never used a crystal stick, I could go get mine, but I won't because the cat's comfortable. It is basically a crystal that looks like a deodorant, and you have to get it wet to put it on, which means and you have to get your armpit wet, which means you're going to be getting water everywhere. So that's fun. And also it tends to leave crystal residue around the rim of wherever you set the darn thing. So that's a bit of an issue. So body odor, unpredictable periods, facial hair that I have to shave, I get sideburns and it goes all the way down to here, but I have to shave or pluck or whatever. I get hairs here, I get them here, all kinds of inconvenient. And I say it's not that bad because my other condition is way, way worse, especially now that I've had a hysterectomy. Now, I'm not saying if you have PCOS that you should just go out and get one. I'm not. I just don't have to deal with the unpredictable periods. I still have to shave and pluck every day, and monitor the situation. But the periods, which were the biggest hassle, are gone. And sometimes they'd be light, sometimes they'd be heavy. And I ended up getting the hysterectomy. Now, my periods weren't painful until I got fibroids. And that's why I had the hysterectomy. Plus, another thing you don't need to know about is irrelevant. So, I mean, it's not like the periods were worse, and I didn't get PMS that I noticed. And nobody ever said that I showed symptoms of PMS. So, so they were irregular, but they weren't painful, and I didn't have really bad PMS. So, I guess it could have been worse. But, lighting, what are we doing? So, again, the other thing that I have that I'm going to be doing a video on is way, way worse in comparison. Now, here's the thing that impacts me the most, aside from the hair. When I wake up, I have to eat immediately. If I don't, one of two things will happen. Either I will vomit, which is not fun, or I will have a very unpleasant potty trip. So yeah, I immediately, and that never made sense to me. Hello body, we need nutrients now. So we're going to evacuate via one exit or the other, the nutrients that we have in storage. How much sense does that make? Zero. So now my sugars will shoot up, but I don't benefit from a sugar high. That's the thing. And then they will plunge way down into the basement, and I have no choice at that point but to take a nap. Like I am out cold, just out. Sometimes though, they'll dive into the basement so low that the nurses will come rushing in with juice cups, and they'll be surprised that I'm still upright because I have built up somewhat of a tolerance to the ups and downs that my body is doing. They're like, how are you upright right now? I said, I get a little brain fog, but I'm used to it. That shocked them. That is not, I have had PCOS since I was about 17, and I knew then that I had it. But at the time, I hadn't had ovarian cysts. So I said, I don't have the thing it's named for, so that can't be what this systemic thing that's going on could be. So I put it off on the side burner. And then I did get ovarian cysts, but for some reason I didn't remember about PCOS. And then, oddly enough, you know how you can get kidney stones and gallstones? I got ovary stones. I drank a bunch of lemonade and they went away, just like a kidney stone. I don't freaking know, okay? I don't understand any of this. So, a friend of mine, actually a lot of my friends apparently have it, but a friend of mine was talking about the blood sugar stuff, and finally I went back and I read PCOS again, and the blood sugar stuff wasn't there. But now I've had the cysts. I have a history of cysts, and I was told they were normal. And normally, they can be normal. They can be normal. Don't freak out if you get cysts. They can be normal. It's just in my case, I went back and I read the symptom lists for PCOS, and I went, yes, all the way down the list. Every single symptom on the list I had at one point in my life. So, yeah. And I go to my doctor, and he looks at my history, and he says, well, there's the blood sugar issues. And I tell him about that instance when I was at the doctor. And I tell him, that they thought I was hypoglycemic, but that doesn't run in my family. Fairly certain one of my aunts has PCOS. although she had way worse fertility issues than I did. But yeah, I'm fairly certain she's probably got it too. So there is probably a family history of this. And that is the aunt that I resemble the most physically. Like, my other aunts are all like flat, the front and back. But this aunt and I we both have curves, and we both have the same nose. So it makes sense. The one I'm going to resemble the most physically is the one, and I'm starting to think, side note, that the firstborn is going to resemble an aunt more than the parent, because my son looks more like my sister than he does like me. I mean, I can kind of see resemblance between me and him, but for the longest time, he looked more like my sister than me. But anyway, so I tell him about, the blood sugar stuff, about how they thought it was hypoglycemic and it doesn't run in the family, but I'm fairly certain my aunt has it. And I told him about the thing in the doctor's office, and I said, I just, if I have it, I need to know so that I know what to do next. And he looks at me and very calmly says, yep, you've got it. I'm like, okay, so what do I do now? He says, well, we send you to nutrition and you get put on the diabetic diet. Great. But this is why. You get these, oh, by the way, it also affects your thyroid. My thyroid went up, down, normal. They couldn't put me on medication because if they put me on medication for hypo and I went hyper, and vice versa. So it can also make your thyroid go wonky. So here's what happens. If my sugars are low, and I do have a testing kit, if my sugars are low, I don't even need the testing kit, honestly, because my brain just kind of, like, I'm awake, but I have it feels like my head is full of cotton and the neurons are trying to fire through the cotton and I forget words. When I'm hungry, I look at a menu and sometimes somebody has to pick for me, which with the other problem I have now is impossible because they don't know what I can and can't eat. But sometimes that's what would have to happen. By the way, I'm sorry I'm adjusting the glasses. They're new and the nose piece is really loose and it's driving me nuts. Anyway, so the neurons in your brain feel like they're firing through cotton. That's not the only thing that happens, though. It's weird. If I don't have enough of something, I don't know yet. Maybe I need more protein, maybe I need no sugar. I haven't met with a nutritionist yet. I might do a follow-up video after I do. But if my body is lacking something that it needs, or maybe if it's a sugar crash, I don't know. My muscles feel, I don't want to say like they're asleep because you don't get the tingly, but like, when you've slept on your arm and you sit up and your arm is just dead. That's what I get. It feels, I don't know. No. Actually, I can tell you. When you have been at the gym and you've been working hard, you've been going at it really, that's loud. You've been going really, really hard and your muscles just like you are staggering back to the locker room to shower. Like you've been doing a lot of, push-ups and pull-ups and weights and things, and your arms are just, ugh, and you can barely lift your hand to turn on the shower. That's what it's like. That is exactly what it's like. Like I have been working out, and for all I know, it might be that my muscles need lactic acid because that's what it is when you've worked out too much. No, are they I don't know. I don't know the science. The point is, I feel like I have been working out really, really hard and my arms and legs don't want to do anything. And also, funny thing, I've never wanted to be drunk, but I've also never been able to get drunk. Here's why. The sugar in the alcohol makes me sleepy. I don't get the buzz for very long before I'm... So even if I wanted to get drunk, which I have never been drunk, I did try once, but as I said, I just got sleepy. I fell asleep. So I can't get drunk. My friends take that as a challenge, and family take that as a challenge. I don't know why. It's not a challenge. I didn't want to be drunk. Tried once because of extreme emotional stuff, and all I did was get tired. I fell asleep. I drank half a bottle of unfiltered Goldschlager. Dumb, I know. Half a bottle of unfiltered Goldschlager, and I didn't even get a buzz. I just got tired. I will say Akavit. My stomach hates it, but Akavit made me tipsy, and I got pissed because I didn't want to be tipsy. I thought it was like tequila or vodka, and I could just take a shot and be fine. It wasn't even a full shot. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack. So I can be drawing, crocheting, watching videos, playing video games, whatever, and forget to eat. And I can already tell you I didn't have enough of a well-rounded breakfast because this arm is shaky, which is why it's really easy to do the dead leg or the dead arm drop. So like you get shaky and your muscles just don't want to work. You know, it's hard to describe other than the workout analogy. So, and God forbid you be out and about and you don't have any money to buy food. This is why I carry, well, I'll have to change what I carry, but I used to carry a protein bar and or beef jerky. Now I have to have turkey because I can't have beef. But you have to carry snacks with you no matter no matter where you go, you have to carry snacks with you. Because if you don't, and your sugar drops, and you don't have money, or you have extreme dietary restrictions, and you can't eat out, you have to go home. You have to stop whatever you're doing, go home and eat. Because if you don't, you're just gonna out cold. Well, that's if you eat too much sugar. But too much sugar, you have to take a nap. But if you don't eat, you're basically useless. You can barely walk. Your arms are shaking. You feel like you're going to throw up, in my case. So, and nobody wants to be out when they feel like they're going to throw up. So yes, if anybody ever tells you PCOS is nothing, they're wrong. I'm here to tell you it may be invisible, but it's real, you know. And when I get the cysts, they're not comfortable. I wind up going to the emergency room or making a doctor's appointment. It's not fun having cysts, can I just say? But yeah, plucking every single day, shaving things that girls aren't supposed to have. Thank God I have somebody in my life who doesn't care if I'm a little fuzzy, but I care. You know, I don't want to see, you know, little dark hairs all over here and here and here. No. And I'll be blunt, I do not have a happy trail. Nobody told me that shaving makes it darker, so I have an Oregon trail. Down. No. So yes, it's not fun, but as much not fun as PCOS is, I can kind of deal with it. I kind of know what I'm doing, and you know, when I don't have, I assume when I get the diabetic diet down pat, I'll have loads of energy all the time, and I'll be a happy little energizer bunny. But I don't even want to get out of bed in the because I got no energy. That's the paradox, is you have to get out of bed to eat your breakfast, and God forbid it take any time at all to cook. I can't make pancakes or waffles or eggs. I used to have 3 eggs for breakfast every morning, but while the eggs were cooking, because I boiled them, and it takes half an hour the way I did it, I'd have to have something small so that I could remain standing long enough to cook the eggs. So yes, that, in 20 minutes or less, is what it is like to have PCOS. I did this one first because I'm less likely to cry.